All right, welcome back. So we're taking on a challenge activity here for Lesson 12, the Draw Loops in Code.org CS Discovery. So in this one, we're creating an animated scene. And we can see here it says this level combines some of the skills you've been learning. So we're basically, we're going to need to create some sprites and set their X and Y locations and then their animations and set their scale to match the image to the right. So we're first going to create our sprites for the background. And then which is the couch right here. Okay, and then we're going to create our sprites for the cow, elephant, and pig and set in the X and Y locations. And over here in animation, they're already loaded in here for you. So we need to have the couch first, which will be the entire background. And so let's go ahead and work on that. So we're going to first grab this variable here, and then we're going to set the animation. So whenever you create, a sprite, we need to first create it and tell it where its location is, and then also say what that is going to be. All right, so in this particular case, we're going to be setting this couch. So we'll do couch, and then you got to make sure that you name these the same. And then we're going to go ahead and set the animation to background, okay, or couch. I believe that's what that is. You can always go to animation here and you can see what the name of it is. So they're going to call it the background, which would make sense. And we're just going to leave this at the 200, 200. So if we run this right now, nothing's going to happen because I don't have a draw sprite on here. But if I wanted to go ahead and put a draw sprite on here, now I have the background. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of this though because that's not where we're going to want the draw sprite at. But we'll come back to that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and draw our next ones. We're going to do the cow, elephant, and pig. So let's move these up here. And we're going to go ahead do this one. Doesn't really matter that you place them below the comment code here, but we'll keep it nice and neat. We need 3 of them. So the first one is cow. Oops. And this one's cow. The other one's elephant. And then elephant. And then this one's going to be pig. Now for each one of these, we're going to select the animation. This one's the cow. This one's the elephant. And this one's the pig. Now you can see here I have a warning or an alert, and it's because I didn't spell this correctly. So make sure that you spell these identical. I forgot the E there. And now, got to add the draw sprite again. We're going to end up placing the draw sprite in a loop, but for right now, that'll work for us. Now obviously this isn't working, right? This is not going to work for us. So we're going to need to go to sprites and we're going to set the scale for each of these. So let's do cow. And let's start with just under half. So let's do 0.4. And whenever you do the scale, you use a decimal number. Okay, so that's really 40% of what its normal size is. So if we go ahead and place that, can't really see it because it's hidden behind the others, but we'll figure that's correct. And we'll probably need to change its location too. Well, let's go ahead and set the scale for all of these. So for our elephant, he's a little bit bigger, so let's say 0.5. And then we're going to do another scale. And that one's pig. And let's do that one, because he's a little smaller, let's do 0.35. So all their scales are good now, but they're not in the right spots, right? So we need to kind of move them around a little bit. So let's move the cow. Let's do 300. See where that places him. So that puts him over here. Let's drop him down a little bit though. So we're going to make this 220. And the elephant, we're going to go this direction. So let's say 100 and make that a little bit not quite the same as this one. Oh, look at that. Fits right on the cushion perfect. And maybe we want to even, I think that looks good. We could make it 110 if we wanted to. Let's see what that looks like. That's perfect. And then for the pig, we're going to do obviously to the right of the elephant. And then we're going to place it a little bit lower even. Let's see what that looks like. There. That looks really good, I think. All right. So now we're going to set the animations for the sprites. And to do that, we are going to need a draw loop. Maybe. Let's take a look. Got to find that. Oh, it was right in front of me. Goodness. All right, so now we're going to set the animations. So what we want to do with this, and we can just leave it as draw. So we're going to change the Y for all of these characters. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And notice it changes and creates the equal. Okay. So we're going to say that the cow.y is going to be a range of numbers. And if we look, well, the cow right now is 220. So that definitely wants to be our low, right? And we're going to use a random for this. So we're going to go ahead and randomly put that in there. And we're going to say that this is, for sure, the highest number that we want to go is 220 because we don't want it to go further down the couch. And then we obviously don't want 1 because he's going to be way up there. So let's go ahead and just make it like 150. Okay? And let's go ahead and we're going to do the same thing for the elephant. And we're going to do the same thing for the pig. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and add a random. And again, the highest number that we want is going to be whatever it has here. So if this is elephant, 215. And then for pig is 240. Because we don't want them to go further down the couch. This is the lowest point we want them to go. Okay? So we have 220, 215, 240. Now we need to, maybe we want to have the elephant be the same as like the, we can do 150 for that as well. And if you want, you can change it. If you don't want it quite that high, I'm going to just go ahead and do 200 and show you what the difference is between one that's lower, one that's higher. And then we just need to put the draw sprite in there, and then we're done. So we can go ahead and put our draw sprite in. And make sure you put your draw sprite within your loop. If you don't have it within the loop now, it's not going to draw those. I'm really not sure why it's... Oh, it doesn't like my 0.5. It wants 0.5. So if you get that, okay. All right, let's try to run it now. There we go. So every time the loop runs, as we watch this, it is taking and randomly picking a new number. So it's changing the Y location for each of these characters up and down here, right? Because Y is this way, up and down. So it's randomly picking a new number. So that's why they're not like so much floating in the air and stuff like that. Like you can see the cow sometimes is a little bit higher and then lower, and that's kind of what's going on with these. Okay. All right, so that's how you fix this one. Hopefully that helps you with your coding, and good luck.